Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste, Namaste. Welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Okay, let's start with questions today.
Is it okay to want to understand the mechanism of recognition? Like, I guess if I kind of innerly can remember the track of it, it would be like nice. You know, today I read one statement of the teacher of Rumi, and he would say the intellect and the effort could bring you to the door, but they cannot open the door. So it's like there is some no step must happen here, and I guess this is also retraceable. So it's something like inside of me can remember the way to recognize myself. Yeah. Here, like I'm watching and like something is watching, and the perception is like if I myself, the normal me, is watching, not like the vastness is watching. And I guess this is exactly the door which must be kind of open, and my heart must remember this, how to open it. Like in any possible occasion, it's just you gave us some of the keys, like am I aware now? And yes, sometimes it works, sometimes it does not for some reason. But I mean, it's so like it's so strange because it's just about myself. It must be like super easy to you know. I can't anymore. I can't believe that it could be like in any way difficult.
Yeah.
It would be like so silly to just imagine that it's difficult, because it's just here, and I cannot show you that I lost myself or something. But this little mental conviction must be not only this. I guess we all must just be able to see it any time, not just once in a week or year. Reasonable, no?
Yeah. You'll be able to see it anytime.
Yes. It's not about belief or something. It's just
yes. So you said something which maybe helps us in this conversation. You say, I've given you some tool, like this tool. Are you aware now? And then you say, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So in the times when it doesn't work, do you say, no, I'm not aware?
No, I can't say no. It's just not just kind of not feeling my heart in that moment. Kind of normal, like yes, of course, because wherever I can report means I'm there to be able to report it. It's just it doesn't burst up in that moment.
So sometimes the burst up happens, sometimes no burst up happens.
Yes.
But the question and the answer does not change.
No.
So suppose that the burst up had nothing to do with it, in spite of in spite of Rumi and Shams and all of that. Suppose that the opening of the heart, the arising of love, the feeling of whatever the feeling is, also has nothing to do with that which you are naturally aware. Sometimes, yes, I'm aware, but where's the joy or where's anything? Sometimes I'm aware.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like there is something more just than being good. But like this recognition just feels so much light, and it's like I cannot like stop like smiling or on my face. I just cannot bring it back.
Yeah.
It's just and then it goes. And then
that which you find about yourself.
Mhm.
What does that one have to do with your smile?
You mean like this? What I am should be not in constant recognition and constant joy about seeing itself.
What you are is naturally the unchanging one. So that does not have states. You see? It is just an aspect of it which is moving in all these states. So if you don't feel that this body is you, and whether the body is smiling or not, it does not say anything about the reality of you, because that reality of you does not have a state, either this or that. You see? So sometimes in the outward expression it can seem that the byproduct of this seeing sometimes can seem very sober, and that changing one, and sometimes it is unchanging one. But the unchanging one is not changing because of this.
No. Maybe just something inside tries always to make some last step. Let's say,
Yeah.
trying to still to cycle it for the last step, like using that tool or this tool, and finally.
We are here as well.
Maybe this making the last step, let's say, can drop.
The last step is the dropping of the last step. If there was, I like what you say, by the way, about the mechanics of the recognition. I also enjoy very much the mechanics of the recognition. But to become what you are is not a mechanical process.
No.
So that has no mechanics.
No.
So that already is. Now, out of the joy of this play, you see, then just like, where does the sun rise? You see? In the same way, we say, where do I come from? What am I? There can be some wonder, some joy in revealing this mechanics of this recognition, you see? Like that. But not with the sense that I have to complete something.
Like a recognition for the sake of just joy?
Yes, or not even joy. Maybe I can say for the sake of the truth itself. Because even when I say joy, then sometimes you can have this. You see? So the wonder of the truth itself, even if the byproduct of the truth is not joy. You see? Like these children have this also. If they want to break up the car and see what makes it. Sometimes they might even feel sad, oh, that I broke my toy car. You see? And yet, there's a wonder in that truth revealing itself. So from that perspective, it's fine, but not from the perspective that I have to come to some final step or something like this. Because then again, that would be coming from just a misidentification about what you are.
So I cannot make myself to associate with truth. I just can't do it.
Cannot make myself to associate with truths. What would associate mean?
Like I don't know.
Associate would mean that there are two.
Yes.
Is there you and the truth, and now we are trying to link the both of them up, get them married?
Yes, yes, yes.
This is the thing. Both the bride and bridegroom are you.
Something is moving around.
Yeah, that's okay.
One side and other side.
That which perceives this movement is moving also.
I don't like this question.
Yes, because
Maybe because it never really properly worked.
Maybe
Like
it always worked, but our idea of it working is something else. Can we explore a little bit? Maybe the answer is simpler than what we expect it to be. Yesterday when I asked, what is the quality of that one which looks at all of this? How was that question?
What is the quality of the one
that looks at all other qualities?
Yesterday I was completely taken by the satsang, and I cannot say when it happened what was the click. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like.
So we can.
And what was that? I don't know.
So now we can look fresh. So everything that is perceived has some quality, isn't it?
Yes.
So it is full of attributes and it is subject to time. That means not only does it have qualities, the qualities also change with time as time goes along. Is it? Now, that which is looking at all of this, what is the quality of that one, or the attributes of that one?
Some frustration is here because
you have some history with this question.
Maybe because Guruji is just asked so many times. You know, it's just his main question, and it looks like it's already so old, and looks like other keys are better or something. Something just tries to make it mechanically this.
There's too much condition about this question. We don't have to worry so much. I have many questions to ask. But maybe one last look at this one where we just say that which looks at all that is changing, all that is full of qualities. Can we find, okay, let's make it simpler. Can we find any quality of that one? Are there any obvious qualities? Because sometimes I feel like you're taking too much effort. No? Are there any obvious qualities of that one which are just apparent? Don't have to take any effort. Not even this much work. It's just like,
I'm not doing something now because
No.
I know if I start doing something, I will be lost completely. So because this is like the rare.
These two are there. Shiva family, Krishna. Both have qualities, different qualities. This is goldish, this is greenish, yellowish, isn't it? That which is looking at them, does it have any obvious quality that you can say, like color? Yeah? Just like there was no effort to see it like this. Yeah, goldish, greenish, some silver, something. In the same way, that which looks at all of this is something very apparent.
Just like normal me.
Yeah?
Normal me.
There's a normal me.
Mm, that's why I'm sitting here, because it just feels like normal me is looking.
Normal me is looking.
Mm.
Any quality of this one which is apparent, like color, shape, size?
Yes. Yes.
Which one?
So I'm just feeling in the system. A bit heavy here and there.
The feeling of heaviness is there.
Yes.
And tell me when you want to stop. Okay, we can look at another line of contemplation if you like. Feeling of heaviness is there. That is also perceived. No?
I already forgot the question.
Okay. I was saying that this feeling of heaviness,
Okay.
that is also perceived, the quality of heaviness is also perceived, that which perceives this quality of heaviness, can we say that that is also heavy?
Like here, I can say that that one is here. The one you are asking, like it is just must be here. Like I understand it must be here.
But is that just an inference? Like it must be,
kind of,
therefore, like that?
Kind of. That's why like this question probably it's not. I don't feel it's like coming. The state is completely different from the one I just came here and started. Yeah, but, okay.
Okay. So let's come back to, are you aware now? Are you aware now? Is this something You're inferring?
Aware means I'm here and I know it. If this is aware, yes, I know. I'm here and I know it. This is how I define it.
Okay. I know it, or I know itself, is more than enough actually. Because when you're saying I know now, you're not saying that I have a concept of it, and you're not saying that I have a perception of it. Isn't it? Still with me? When you say I know, we're not talking about any sort of conceptual knowing or intellectual knowing.
No.
So it's a deeper.
It is known to me.
It is a knowingness. So the I and the know, are they two different? I said the I and the know that we are talking about, know with the capital K. Are they different? Is there an I there separately from the know, or from the knowingness?
It's kind of floating around, but I would say.
What, the know is floating around, or the I is
the
floating?
I is floating around.
That which is aware that it is floating around is floating around? Because you are aware it is floating around. Are you the one floating around, or are you the one looking at the floating around? Primarily. Okay, the perception of floating around is experienced where?
Here. It feels like very much habitual.
The floating seems habitual.
Yes, very much like I feel myself during the day.
Yes. What about the one that is aware of this floating?
It is here, but I can't give you the right answer. This one.
Okay, you say something nice. You say it is here, but I cannot give you the right answer because we've heard in Satsang so often that the right answer is I am this one. So then don't give that answer. I want to ask you another question then, which is who is aware that it is here?
So these perceptions, they come to me.
All the perceptions come to you. And this you itself, who is aware of?
It's a funny thing. I feel some resistance. Like either it tries to work it out, or it just becomes blank, so it cannot remember.
I see. So
what you say.
So I give you an option there, multiple choice. Is Chaitanya sitting next to you aware of this? And he's telling you? So is it second-hand information or is direct?
Okay, direct.
That. Is it?
Definitely, I know what is going on here.
Yes. You know.
Yes. No.
This one that knows, is it separate from the knowingness itself? That which is aware of all things going on here, like you say, is it separate from that awareness itself?
There is such a soup of movements inside.
Yes. Let them be. You don't have to resist them in any way. Movements are happening. You are aware of them.
Yes.
This you, is that itself also a movement? That one that is aware is also moving?
I'm trying to focus on it.
So the question is simpler actually. So there's movement happening. Like this one hand is movement happening. This other hand is the one looking at the movement. So both are moving like this, like this. So both are moving. His eyes are closed, so you can't see my drama. I'm saying
I'm
that,
like trying to bring all doubts now.
yeah, but this is why what I was saying is movement is happening. You are looking at the movement. You are also dancing like this. Movement is also dancing. Both are dancing like this. Like this.
Cannot be, no.
No, not inference. Yeah. You know, everyone knows that. All of us know the right answer. Okay, what is the doubt which is coming? You said that somehow all the doubts are coming.
Kind of no doubts, but also no answer.
No doubt and no answer. That is very good. So without doubt, without answer, motionless. without the question, without the answer, your existence is still here. And you are aware of this existence.
Yes.
What kind of self would it be if it needed an answer to complete itself? There's a related question, so I'll take that. Adrian before that said, I love you so much, Father. Same here, my dear. Thank you. Then Popachi says, the sense of being aware seems also to be fading over time. Is this okay? So, but you are aware of the fading, no? Is it? You cannot become unaware no matter what you do, because then you would not be able to report this anyway. Is it? So maybe what you're talking about is the sense of perception or giving your attention to particular things, something like that, which seems very similar to awareness. But you are aware of the intensity of it or the fading of it. That which is aware, is that fading away? Okay, so let's do an experiment. Don't be aware. Yeah? Don't be aware. Who managed it? Did? There is no escaping this awareness. Because even if you were to say, I'm not aware, what you're actually then saying is, I am aware that I am not aware. Okay? This aware cannot go away because it is you. So if something is fading, that which is aware of the fading itself is not fading. It does not have any state like intense or fading. Is it? So maybe the sense is, from the question is more of being more attentive or something. Where we're talking about the functioning of attention, but not that which is aware of attention.
I see that the mind tries to make up an image of the attributeless one and
Yes.
to become it.
Yes. So what is the image it is painting for you? Like a black empty space? Or what? What is the image?
I don't know. It's just something with what is different from
Because
me
I like
now.
what you say very much. Many, many, many. When the mind tries to come into our aid and say, okay, he keeps talking about awareness. So let me present one awareness. You see? So many get lost in the visual of awareness. This empty, dark space, because that's what it sounds like, you see? But even then the question is, what is even aware of that? Is that an empty, dark space? Aware of the empty, dark space? Or some can see like big white light or something like this. That's also just a painting. What is aware of this painting? Yes.
Sometimes there's a split moment of hearing it, and then immediately the mind I have that also where I can't say it's a visual because I can't really paint a picture of it.
Yes.
There's a split second of recognition, and then the mind is
Yeah.
something.
Yes. She says, can it be like this, that there's a split second of recognition, and then quickly the mind tries to give some alternative painting? Yes. Yes. This is very common.
And so what do you recommend?
No, as long as you recognize this, it is fine. You see, because whatever visuals the mind might be presenting to you, you are aware of them.
Sometimes I think I actually mistake, I actually fall for it, you know?
Yes.
Because what the mind can present is so subtle anyway to match the concept of this.
She says, sometimes I actually fall for it because the mind can try to represent this very closely. You see, what is the close representation for you?
It's like a spacious.
Like a space.
Yeah, like a concept. And I can't say it's a visual image, but some kind of imagined spaciousness.
Like an imagined spaciousness. Yes, very good, very good. So you see that the mind will paint, as I say, the unlimited one or something like that. The mind is busy painting this visual unlimited one. Well, that is what I am. You see, you notice if there's still a sense of that is what I am. No, this is what you are. You see, that which is aware of even that. That's why sometimes even the great phrase, I am that, can lead to some confusion. Then it's better to say, I am this, or better to say, I am, or it is better to say, I. The starting point of the I is where? Is it there? Where is it? You know, I'm using spatially like there and there, but there's no spatial correlation as such. See, the I represents what? Huh? Say me. It represents me. So this me represents what? Huh?
Observation point.
The observation point.
As in, not actually a point. Everything reports.
Where everything reports to. Everything reports to. Where is that? Everywhere? Nowhere? Somewhere?
It goes to a point of nowhere.
Is there a awareness about it?
No.
Not really, no.
It's like
That's the most amazing thing.
you
Most
go
amazing
in
thing.
and in and it flips and
Yeah. Yeah.
you disappear.
You disappear?
I disappear.
I disappear?
As in, as a person.
Person was here that it disappeared? Perception disappears?
Notion.
Huh?
Notion.
The notion disappears? The perception disappears? Can you disappear? The notion can disappear, the perception can disappear. Can you disappear? Did you appear in the first place? No. Then, how do you recognize this?
I
Yeah.
observes.
Yeah.
Never.
See, we recognize this polo because we see the quality of it. But how you recognize yourself?
It's annoying.
If this polo looked like an orange, would you call it a polo or an orange?
Orange.
Orange. Now, with this about you, can you say? You see, this is the most beautiful thing. This is your only non-phenomenal recognition. I ask you if there's an apple on the table. You look for the qualities of the apple. And you say, yes apple or no apple, based on whether you perceive the qualities or not. But when we're talking about yourself, what are you saying? What did you find to confirm that I recognize myself? What color was yourself? What shape was yourself?
It's just a presence.
Presence.
You can't, I can't define it.
Presence. The presence is also ultimately perceived.
Yeah, it was.
The sense of presenceness,
Yeah.
beingness, is also perceived.
That's also possible.
That which perceives it as a presence. Is it? So although it's dynamic, movement seems to leave this presential sort of feeling. Is it? In its original state, can we even say presence? Because even presentness as a quality is not there. I wonder who will hear these words.
Yeah.
Even presentness as a quality is not there in that. Most amazing thing. Is it? I could conjure up a rainbow in this room. Is it? That is nothing compared to this recognition, which is empty of quality, and yet it is recognized only through intuitive insight, inner insight. Now mind will come and say, but it's nothing. It is nothing. I didn't find anything. You see? That's why I have to say it's the most wonderful thing to counter the mind. You can confirm I am aware without seeing anything, without perceiving anything. You see? It is the strangest thing. If I say, is there an orange on this table? You perceive that there is no orange, you will say no. Why will you say yes? You see? But when I say, are you aware now? Did you perceive this awareness? Yet you say yes. How? Are you lying? Not lying. You're telling the truth. And you do not, yet you do not perceive it. It's the most amazing discovery in the world. You see? There is nothing else like it. You see? The closest you can come to in some ways is that when you report on attention, because attention also is empty of qualities, empty of seemingly empty of birth and death, really? Empty of shape, size, and yet even attention you run out of. It is limited. And you, that which is aware of even this attention, there's no concept of running out or enough of. And it's so simple. Everybody says, yes, I am aware. Nobody is lying. The mind will come and say, but you're only saying yes because you're aware of something. That's why you're saying I'm aware. You see? So that would then mean that I'm only saying sitting because chair is there. No. But independent of chair, you know what sitting is. You see, it would be like saying, I'm only saying walking because street is there. You know what walking is. You see? So you learned how to walk, you learned how to sit, but who taught you to be aware? Huh? Is somebody teaching babies to be aware? No, it is just natural. It just is. This is your unchanging truth. It is not the off that is making the awareness. Is that awareness which is the source of all the offs. Attention on that which is aware is so hard to sustain. Rarely lasts a few seconds, if any. How and who is to keep the attention within continuously. Don't have to do that. Let your attention go free. Then automatically as you come into satsang, let the words guide whatever has to be guided on its own naturally. When I ask you, are you aware now? Take the question with an innocence of a child. Don't try to do anything with your attention. Just speak naturally, yes or no. Then the master will guide you further if there is a need like that. If it is just naturally there, nothing to be done. The movement of attention, you see, cannot be so much that it leaves you. It's like saying my arm became so adventurous, it just decided to leave the rest of my body. You see, your attention is always coming back, reporting content back to you. So try this instead. I like flipping these things like this. If you feel like attention is too difficult to contain, you send attention out of yourself. Send it out. Just let it leave you. Let's see if it's possible. Just have no attention. Throw your attention out of yourselves. Have no attention for yourselves. When you do it, get rid of your attention. Don't want it anymore. It has caused enough trouble. It has gone to all kinds of objects and made me believe I'm those objects. So now we don't want it. Throw attention out. When we do it, then you say, attention can't leave me. Then what were you trying to do? Keep your attention on yourself. It already is. Who tried this experiment? You tried or no? You tried to throw attention away? And where did it go?
Went on some wherever.
Yes, yes. But it left you completely?
Can't leave me.
It can't leave you. And you were trying to keep your attention on yourself?
No.
Whoever's trying something is only trying to keep their attention on themselves, where actually it cannot leave you.
But I also recognized wherever it fell on, in the comment given, I realized that when I was calling it's like my ego and my attention seemed to be like the same thing in a way.
How ego came into this?
Because the voice which talks,
The voice talks, which is labeling everything which attention is going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're trying to get that out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Don't try to get it out of your way, because what tool you have to get it out of the way? We spoke about this in the retreat. Okay, suppose this thought is there. You want to get it out of the way. What tool you use? What shovel you have? Nothing. So how are you trying to get it out of the way? Just trying to push it out of the scope of your attention, isn't it?
Yes.
You're just trying to keep your attention away from it. What does it mean by getting it out of the way? Or not being stuck in something? So I'm saying don't do any of that. Don't bother with any of that. Let everything come and go. Even your attention can go wherever it wants. It can never leave you. Then, as you're coming to satsang, or you're doing the inquiry for yourself, as you ask the question, who am I? You don't have to control your attention after asking the question. Automatically. You see, you don't even have to check on this automatically. You see, something works on its own. Like Bhagavan said, throw it like a hand grenade and you get out of the way.
Or something seems to even follow the attention in a sense that supposing like you ask the question,
Yeah.
when the attention is moving in this, I can expect an answer kind of waitingness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who's waiting then?
There's an anticipation of the answer. Who is aware of this anticipation? Is that I which is aware anticipating? Or just the anticipation is an appearance appearing and disappearing? You see, we invent a me on the basis of some appearance of some feeling or something.
It feels like there's no, you don't have your own existence and in this seekerness, it seems that like this seeker identity is trying to find something objective through its attention, through the words which you
That's
say.
what now.
Yeah,
I had the phone in my kurta pocket,
yeah,
looking in my trousers and everywhere else in the house.
yeah.
So trying to look for the self in the objective realm is like that. You will only find objects in the objective realm, isn't it? Then, are you an object?
No.
There is much everyone intuitively knows that I am not an object. Then how will find it in the world of objects? You see, and yet that is the habit. Because we are used to seeking in that way for everything. We have got used to looking for things in this objective world. That's why we feel like even the self I will find here. As a feeling, as a perception, as an object, as some light, as some space. And some of these are pointers, like when we say space, when we say the inner light of consciousness. But this light is not this light. You see, this space is not this space. It's just that we invoke certain qualities to bring you away from this notion of your limited existence, and then we negate even those qualities. And you notice that if you look at all the scriptures, you see, in Vedanta especially, this is what they do. They'll say, you are like that space, which is completely untouched, but not even this space you are. You see? So they say, what is the point of this? No, you can say like that, but it has a point. Because it goes away from your sense of being this gross object, you see, into a more spacious sort of thing, and then tries to push you even beyond that by saying, but not even that space you are. And say, you're like that light which never fades. But even this light happens in the light of your own existence. So it takes you out of the sense of, oh, I am just an object with birth and death. There must be something which is timeless. Say, well, even that light, no matter how present or how eternal that light is, I am aware even of that. Yesterday we asked whether all of us are clear that we will not find the self as an object in this world of perception. Clear about that. So now where else can you look? Huh?
Be like,
So there is a looking happening. Okay, there is a looking happening, and all it is finding is perception, 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 perception. It looked everywhere and knows. The self is not here. Now, what about looking at the looking itself? Who is looking? Is that an object? What to do with the world of perceptions? Guru Kripa Kevalamit. That's my best advice now. What to do with the world of perceptions? Leave it to the Master's grace. The word Kevalam is the best. It's only. Okay? So it doesn't exclude anything from its core. Only the Master's grace is. So it doesn't leave any scope for anything else. It cannot be, oh, my desire and my Master's grace is my plan and has to work. My Master's grace has to work on my plan. That is called half surrender. Please, I surrender everything to you. It's all your grace. Just make sure it goes that way. So then we are keeping our plan and trying to invoke the Master's grace. The Master's grace means only Master's grace is. No past, no future, no plan. No bondage, no freedom. All in the realm of perception, left to the divine power, divine grace. Yeah.
It's not my experience right now, but I know that the sticking experience in general is that the sticking point is that only when there's relaxation that looking at looking opens something, or if it seems, they can see that there's relaxation. When there is relaxation there, right, straight.
He says that I find that only when some relaxation is there, then this kind of recognition, this turning inwards, can happen simply. Otherwise, it just seems too difficult or it just seems too sticky.
And it just creates,
Yeah.
like sometimes one of the things we think it's Satsang, it's driving to see, to understand what you're saying, to see, very tense. It's already tense, and it's just like density.
I know this report for many years. Many have reported this, and it is because we got used to getting things in the world in this way. See? You want to achieve something, you have to give it your best shot, like go rah rah rah, and just But this thing, actually, for me, it is the best. If you're just very naturally just sitting here and allowing these words to work on their own. That is the best. Because the words themselves have a certain power, and our seeming personal intervention cannot add anything to these words.
I'm realizing now that there's no point, like it's pointless trying to drive out of it.
Yes.
There's no reason to, but it comes out of the sense of suffering. It's coming from the desire to escape suffering.
Yes. She says it comes from the habit of trying to escape suffering. We try to drive at this, you see? But actually, it is just amplifying the suffering itself.
Yeah, by focus turning more.
By giving it this sort of personal drive, which is contrary to what the words are pointing to. My loves, I've read all the comments. I don't really have the energy to read them all out, but thank you for your beautiful posts. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai. Sadhguru Shri Ananta-Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.